أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي نسأل الله أن يعلمنا ما ينفعنا وأن ينفعنا بما يعلمنا فإنه ولي ذلك والقادر عليه ثم أما بعد. We'll move on today inshallah ta'ala to the marfu'at marfu'at al-asma'. But just to take stock of where we are so far and what we've done, just very briefly in the first 5 to 10 minutes or so, let's just try and place ourselves in our journey where we are right now. What does the picture look like so far? What parts of the puzzle have you got left to complete? So we began our conversation or discussion on the topic of grammar. So let's say number 1, what is grammar? Okay, so pay attention. This is important. Don't just think it's some revision thing you can zone out for the first few minutes. It's important. When you know where you are in the picture, it makes it easier to conceptualize everything else we do. Otherwise, it seems like random topics that we're doing all over the place. So, and this is not tough. Just put attention. You don't need to write anything down. You can put your pens down. Take it easy, but just listen. So, firstly, we talked about. We started off talking about Al-Ajurrumiyyah. So Al-Ajurrumiyyah is, of course, a book in grammar. So we discussed what is grammar, and we concluded that grammar is basically, in the Arabic language at least, is concerned with the endings of words. So kitabun, kitaban, muslimun, and muslimin, and so forth. So grammar. All right, so we talked about what is grammar. That was the first question, what is grammar? Okay, and we decided that grammar is basically concerned with the endings of words, right? Where the word can change word ending. So kitabun can become kitabin, rajulani can become rajulaini, muslimuna, muslimina, and so on and so forth, right? And we call this concept i'rab, right? So then we talked about what is case, okay? What is case, or what is i'rab? Okay, because that came out of the question of what is grammar. So grammar is all stuff about case. So the next question is naturally, what is case? And we said that case is this word ending, the changing of the ending of the word. So we said that nouns and verbs, or words in general, can change, their word ending will change depending on their role, their function or position in a sentence. And we have plenty of examples right now in our minds that we can think of. So for example, a preposition, harf jar, like min, ila, ala, and so on and so forth, they render the following word jarrun. So kitabun will become fi kitabin. Okay, and so on and so forth, right? Muslimuna will become ma'al muslimina, if we treat ma'a like a preposition. So you get the idea, right? So because of something else in the sentence, some other word in the sentence, or its role in the sentence, it will be end in a kasra, right? If it's the object of a verb, if I said, for example, ra'aytu musliman, I saw a Muslim, musliman, because it's the maf'ulun bihi, which we'll formally study soon, because it's the object of the verb, it's the thing you're seeing, it's going to be in the nasbun case. It's going to be in the nasbun case. So that's what we said case was. That's what we said case was. So case was where word endings change, and we'll talk about their meanings, like what's the effect of it. Maybe we'll get to that today, inshallah. Why do word endings change? The concept of word endings changing, right? Following so far? Raise your hand. Yes, some positive acknowledgement. Everyone, please. I know some of you are driving. I think one of you is driving. Okay. So then the next question is, right, how do I know what case a word is in? So obviously under case, we discuss what, I'm not going to write this all down because I know you know it. Right, so there are 4 cases, right? 4 cases, raf'un, nasbun, jarrun, and jazmun. Right, and we talked about, we introduced the topic that you can tell what type of, what case what word is in. So then the next question was, how do words look in different cases? All right, and we spent quite a long time on this. We spent quite a long time on how do words look in different cases. We try to approach it from different ways and different angles and come up with different analogies to try and help us remember how different words look in different cases. So this was basically the discussion about categorizing words into different types. So you have nouns. So we said nouns are in around 7 categories or 6 categories. We have singular words like kitabun, kitaban, kitabin. A broken plural like kutubun. We have sound masculine plurals, jam' mudhakkar salim, like muslimuna, muhandisuna. We have sound feminine plurals, jam' muannath salim, like muslimat and muslimatin. Right, we had diptos, ممنوع من الصرف, like masajid. We had dual, like rajulani. That's for nouns. And we had verbs. We split verbs into 3 types. We've used, remind me, what did we, what analogy did we, or not analogy, what did we use to split into the verbs into? Green, blue, and grey, isn't it? Green, blue, and grey. So I think, right? We've split verbs into green, blue, and grey. Green, blue, and grey. All right, so that we could rewrite that question and say, what are the different signs of the cases? Now, okay, let's rewrite that and say, what are the signs of the cases. Okay, and I gave you some homework about that. Let's just look at those quickly. This was like a document to help you with that. So look, for the nouns, these are all the categories. There's 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The singular. This is what they look like. How do they look in the raf'un case? Dhamma, fatha, kasra for singular. Dhamma, fatha, kasra for broken plural. Dhamma, kasra for feminine, and so forth. Right? We did that for nouns, and then for verbs we split into blue, green, and grey. So the blue type of verbs, they're in the raf'un case with a dhamma and fatha and a sukun, jazmun, and then for the green types, it has the noon, doesn't have the noon, doesn't have the dropping of the noon, and then grey types, it doesn't matter, right? So that was a whole discussion about case signs. What, that's for you to. I'm not expecting you to look at this and say, "Oh, I remember." The point is, I want you to remember this discussion and be confident that, okay, I don't remember everything now, maybe. But if I were to go back to the lesson and rewatch it and check my homework and check these documents again, I'd get 70 to 80% of it. And if I was to study again, which I will, it will be okay, inshallah. Right? And so another way we presented this was the homework. Let's find if I have that here. I do not have that open here. Remember that really big table I made you do, right? So that was basically the discussion about what are the signs of the different cases. So we started with grammar. We discussed that grammar is case. So what is case? Case is this word ending stuff. How do I know if the word is in a different case? So we said, oh, look at the word ending, right? And different cases have different signs. So we recognize the different case and different signs. So let's do some examples. So let's take a verb like yaf'aluna. Let's just try and jog our memory. Yaf'aluna. Okay, is this a noun or a verb? Everyone, just say noun or verb. Even if everyone's responded the same thing, just type it in. It's a noun or a verb. Okay, give me the color of the verb. What kind of color of the verb is it? Green. So if I wanted to make it in the Jasmine case, what would I have to do? So to the verb itself, you have to drop the noon, isn't it? So it becomes yaf'alu, and we just have an alif there. Okay. We definitely did colors, and we've referred to it plenty of times. You might have missed those lessons, so you should go back and revise them, Shahino. But we definitely use colors a lot. Refer to them multiple times with colors. All right. Okay, let's do another one. All right. So let's take the word muhandisuna. The noun or a verb, it means engineers. Everyone, I'd like there's 15 of you here at least. Everyone say something. So noun, okay. Then remember the type of noun is it? I'll give you them. Singular, sign feminine plural, sign masculine plural, dual, dip top, broken plural. Which one is that? Sign masculine plural. So if I wanted to make it in the jarrun case, let's say the jarrun case, I want to make this word majroor, what would I do to it? What would I do to it? Muhandisina, right? Okay, good. Raise your hand or give me a thumbs up or something, some positive acknowledgement that you're following so far, that you remember this stuff to some degree, like you remember the discussion, you remember where it fitted. Everyone, please, I'd like, and if you don't, say no. There's a cross button there for you as well if you don't get it. Okay, some of you are clapping. All right. Okay, Khadija's not here. Fawzia, admin one. All right, طيب. Okay, good stuff. No problem, Khadija. Barakallah feek. Okay, so then the question was, right, so why would a word be in a different case? And we're coming closer to where we are now. Why would a word be in a different case? All right. Oh, sorry, just to backtrack slightly. When you talked about case, there are some words to which case simply does not apply. Some words to which case simply does not apply. Right? Like past tense verbs, like kataba, jalasa, fa'ala. All af'al madiyah, or every single fi'lun madiyun or madin that you come across is mu'rabun, mabniyun. We call them mabniyun. We talked about this. It doesn't apply. Huruf, right? The entire category of huruf, particles, huruf al-jar, and min, ala, ila, all these words, they don't have case, so we don't have to worry about them. Dhama'ir, all pronouns, huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna, anta, antuma, they don't have case, right? And then the other category of words, which is the remainder of words, which is most words, they do have case, like most words that you come across, Muslimun, kitabun, rajulun, filatun, sayarat, daftarun, and so on and so forth. Okay. Anyway, so then we started to talk about what causes things to have case. All right, so this is where we'll inshallah get some perspective. So we split up into our discussion into nouns and verbs, and we started off with verbs. Okay, we started off with verbs. So look, let's go. What is grammar? We talked about what is grammar. We said it's something to do with case. We said, what is case? Case is this word ending discussion. All right, I understand that word endings change. How do I know what case it's in? We said, oh, there's different signs. And we discussed the different signs of the different types of verbs, words and nouns and verbs and whatever. We categorized them into different types, and we talked about each category and how they look in different cases. Now we're discussing, all right, why would they be in those cases? For what reason would a verb be in the raf'un case, be in the nasbun case, be in the jarrun case, or a noun? So we're not going to discuss huruf. Why are we not discussing huruf in our discussion? Why do particles not come into it? I just said it a few moments ago. Let's see if anyone remembers. Why are we not discussing huruf? Why are we not caring about huruf? So now, the question is now, why would a word change case? Okay, so we're going to look at verbs and we're going to look at nouns. Okay, why would a mabni, you mean mabni? Because okay, huruf are mabni, so we don't care about them. So we just care about verbs and nouns. Okay, so we're going to look at verbs and think about why will verbs change case, not how they look. We're not talking about green, blue, red, whatever verbs now. We're talking about why they would change case. All right, what are the three cases that apply to verbs? Out of raf'un, nasbun, jarrun, and jazmun, which ones apply? Everyone, please give me an answer. Okay, so let's look at each one, right? So there are three cases, okay, that will apply to. So there's raf'un, nasbun, and jazmun. These are the three cases. Which one is the default case? Raf'un. Raf'un is the default case. So I'm going to point some. So I'm going to pick on someone. Be ready, everyone. Give you a 5 seconds to just be on alert. I'm going to pick on someone. You don't have to unmute yourself, but you can just type in Masroor Ahmed. Why would a verb? So give me a reason why a verb. What's the main reason why a verb would be in the raf'un? Because just Masroor. Just type out your answer. Well, or you can unmute yourself. It's probably unmute yourself if you don't mind. Why would a verb be in the raf'un case? If it's the subject of the sentence, no, not quite. A verb. I'm talking about verbs here. We're not talking about nouns. Okay, so Maliha, I'll ask you, when is a verb in the raf'un case? Let me rephrase that slightly. When is a verb in the raf'un case? You can type or you can unmute yourself, whichever you prefer. If it's the umda of the sentence, you're quite there, but we said verb is always the umda. So verbs are umda anyway. Remember, we talked about in the verb sentence, the verb is the umda. So it's not really a trick question, but it's a okay. I'll ask everyone now. Open the floor to everyone. When is a verb in the raf'un case? In the raf'un case. I'd like everyone to have an answer. When is a verb in the raf'un case? Do we have a verb like yaktubu? Okay. All right, so that's by default it is raf. It's in a standard sentence, default nothing. Okay, but I want a coherent and articulate answer. When is it? It's a very simple answer. When is the verb in the raf'un case? When is it not in the nasb and jazm case? Giving me a clue here. Good. The verb is in the raf'un case if there is nothing making a nasb and jazm. It's that simple. It's by default. Right? A verb is in the raf'un case if there is nothing making it nasb or jazm. Right, I'll repeat one more time. A verb is in the raf'un case if there is no nasib or jazim before. If there's no lan, lam, and min, or man, all this stuff. Either an and in and lan and k and lamu k and all these other things before it. If there's none of those exist, then it's just going to stay in the raf'un case. Okay, raise your hand if you understand that. Be honest. It's important. This is simple stuff. If you don't understand it, we need to go over it again. A verb is in the raf'un case, in ending in a dhamma, or having the noon, if there's no other reason for it to be anything else. Okay, and say no if you don't understand it. Or message me or something. All right, good. So this is where we were, sort of. So the raf'un, so that's it. So then we have to understand, when is a verb in the nasbun case? Next question. No answer. Hope you haven't. I want to pick on someone. Rahima. When is a verb in the nasbun case? In as succinct a way, as succinct an answer as possible. When is a verb in the nasbun case? You can unmute yourself or you can type, whichever you prefer. Questions for Rahima if you're there. If not, Abdul Samad. Abdul Samad. When is a verb in the nasbun case? Okay, Jazakallah khair, Rahima. You're right. When there's an, okay, when there's an, lan, idhan, okay, we call all these things nawasib. Okay, when there's a nasib, right? When any of these things coming before a verb, it makes them in the nasbun case. When you have an yaktuba, lan yaktuba, idhan yaktuba, kay yaktuba, right, then it becomes mansub. So then what did we do? We went through all the nawasib. We went through them all and we explained their meanings, didn't we? We looked at an, we looked at lan, we looked at idhan, we looked at kay, we talked about their conditions, we talked about their meanings, and we gave some examples, and we gave some Quranic examples. Those are the nawasib. All right. So one more time, look over here. I want you to understand the big picture. We talked about what is grammar. We said grammar is this whole phenomenon about word ending. So what is this word ending business? We said, oh, it's about when words change their word ending depending on where they are in the sentence. How can I tell? We talked about how you can tell with verbs there are green, blue, and grey. We talked about how different ones look in different cases. We said, okay, why would they change case? I said, all right, let's talk about verbs first, and we'll come to nouns. Let's talk why verbs will change case. We said, okay, why will verb be in the raf'un case? Oh, if there's no other reason otherwise, it's just going to be there by default. And the next question is, why would it be in the nasbun case? We said, if there's a nasib before it. Then the question is, what are the nawasib? We said, they are an, lan, idhan, kay, and we talked about their meanings. Okay? Following, raise your hand. That's what we've done so far. And be honest, right? You can fool me because I can't see your faces, but you're helping yourself. If you have any confusion, you can just message me. Okay, good. Same question. All right, almost exactly the same answer. When would a verb be in the jazmun case? This is for anyway, everyone. When would a verb be in the jazmun case? When there is a jazim before it. When there is a jazim before it. And jazim was slightly more complicated because there were two types. There were the conditional ones and the non-conditional ones. We went through them anyway. Lam, okay, lamma, and then there's alam and alamma, and they went through the conditional ones. Man, mata, haythuma, idhma, all right, in, and so on and so forth. We went through all of them. And we talked about their meanings. We did that last week. That was the last thing we did. Right, we went through the jawazim and we talked about how their meanings, what their meanings are, and we gave some examples. And these are the other things that make verbs in the jazmun case, and that's verbs done, right? So we know pretty much most of what there is to know when it comes to verbs in case, at least at the level of Ajurrumiyyah, Okay, so then we can move on to say, all right, so we know why verbs will change case. We know how verbs look when they change case, because that was the previous question. Now let's talk about nouns. When will nouns change case? So tell me, what are the three cases that apply to nouns? What are the three cases that apply to nouns? رفع جر نصب. Good. رفع نصب and جر. Okay. رفع نصب and جر. Or RJ. رفع جر نصب. That's not helpful because J could be جزم. So I have to find another way of saying that. رفع نصب and جر. Okay, good. So the same. What's my question going to be now? What do you think? What's my question going to be? What's the next question we're going to ask? Someone give me the question. What's the next productive question to ask? Oh, that's not a question. That's not a question. Good. That's it, isn't it? Okay, so I think Asfar was jumping the gun a little bit and giving us no, not yeah, okay, well you got it in the end anyway. So the question is, when is a verb in the raf'un case? When is a verb in the not verb, a noun, an ismun? When I say it's a noun, I mean ismun, of course. Ya Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me better handwriting. I apologize for my weeks of torture with my handwriting. One day I will improve it. Ismun, fi'lun. Okay. Raf'un, nasbun, and jarrun. And that is a longer discussion than verbs because there's a lot, and that's the rest of what we're going to finish with. The next 3 or 4 lessons, we're just going to go through them, right? And today I'm going to try and get through all the marfu'at. So when it comes to nouns, the verbs that are in the raf'un case, we call them the marfu'at. I keep saying the nouns. Afwan. Marfu'at. The nouns are in the raf'un case are the marfu'at. Okay, give me one type of word that will be in the raf'un case, just one. The mubtada, good. Another one. The mubtada, all right, good. Another one. The fa'il. Okay, the khabar. Okay, good. All these things. Okay, nasbun. We call these the mansubat. Mansubat. Give me one. What are the one of the mansubat? That's okay, Rahma. I was just joking. Forgive me. So one of the mansubat. Maf'ulun bihi. Give me another one. We might not know more. Okay, ism inna. Good. All right. And then finally, we call these the majrurat. Give me one of the majrurat. In fact, give me, how many are there? How many majrurat are there? How many majrurat are there? There's only 2. And they are the harf jar and the word after harf jar and the mudaf ilayhi. Good. And they are in this table. Right? These are the blue ones. Okay, so let's look at this. So the green ones, I'm sorry, the what color is that? Yellow creamish ones are the verbs. That's why they're put in a different color. The unaffected imperfect verb, the verb after a nasib, the verb after a jazim. Okay, ignore the green ones. The blue ones is what we care about. These are all the marfu'at. How many are there? And we're just looking at the number 6. There are 13 mansubat and there are 2 majrurat, and we're going to go through them. And that's the end of Ajurrumiyyah. That's what we're going to do. That's where we are, but that's the picture. I just want you to know the picture, just to know what the discussion is. And this is really the meat of Ajurrumiyyah. Marfu'at, mansubat, and majrurat. And we'll do those over the next 6 or so. Not 6. We're on lesson number 9 now. I'll probably take about 3 or 4 lessons, inshallah. I'm trying to get through all the marfu'at today. Bit ambitious, but let's do that. Because we know them to some degree anyway. Okay. Questions. Please ask. If you have no, as soon as you have no questions, raise your hand. But until you have a question, I'd like to ask a question before you raise your hand. Ask a question or raise your hand. Now, blue are nouns and green are no, cream is verbs. Blue are nouns and cream is verbs. But just look at the blue for now. Just look at these blue ones for now. Any questions? Otherwise, raise your hand. As soon as you're clear, we're ready to move on. Raise your hand. Otherwise, ask your question, please. Which notes are you referring to? I'm not sure which notes you're referring to. Fawzia, Ayan, Rahima, Rumaysa, Shahin, Tahira, Yusuf. Are you all okay? Or questions? Waiting for you to respond with a hand or a question. Oh yeah, those notes. Yeah, those notes I'm working my best. I've got a lot on at the moment. I'm trying my best to get them done as soon as possible, but you'll be the first to have them, inshallah. You 20 or so of you that have been regular to the classes, as soon as I'm done with those, you'll be the first to have them, inshallah. I'm trying to do them properly. I don't want to rush them. Okay, Rumais, I think is driving. Fawzia, maybe you're there, maybe not. I'm not sure. Okay, khair. Let's move on. Have I sent this page out? I don't know. You tell me. Have I sent this out to you? No. Let me do that now. I'll get that done, inshallah. Okay. I'll do that during the lesson or at the end, inshallah. Okay, let's go back then to Al-Ajurrumiyyah. Am I Bengali? What do you think? That's my favorite question so far. What do you think, Abdul Samad? I sound like an Eastern Bengali. What gave it away? My accent. I don't know how to take that. Is that a compliment or probably not, right? I am an Eastern Bengali, that's right. I grew up in Stepney Green and I now live in Romford. I moved here around 2 years ago. 3 years, maybe, no, 2 years ago. But I spent the first 21 years of my life in Stepney Green. You sure? You want to ask about anything else, Muhammad? Alright, طيب. باب مرفوعات الأسماء. المرفوعات 7. الفاعل والمفعول الذي لم يسمى فاعله والنائب فاعل والمبتدأ. Alright, let's go through them, inshallah. Let's stick to our table and we'll do that from there. Okay, الفاعل. طيب. Not much to it. الفاعل. Okay, bismillah. Let's go through it one by one. Let's get through all of these today. Number 1, الفاعل. Okay, الفاعل. الفاعل. This is just a dua. We already know this. This is a dua in a verb sentence. The dua in a verb sentence. And we are going through the marfu'at, so by default, everything we're talking about is going to be in the raf'un case. Everything we're talking about is going to be in the raf'un case. So, for example, جاء الولد. Okay, the boy arrived. The boy arrived. Al-waladu is the dua. He's the one doing the arriving. He's the one doing the coming. So he's in the raf'un case. He's in the raf'un case with dhamma. Okay. Okay. صلى المسلمون. The Muslims prayed salah. Al-Muslimuna. Al-Muslimuna is the dua. They're the ones doing the praying. They're the ones doing the salah. So in the raf'un case of the wow, it's not Muslimin, it's Muslimuna. And so on and so forth. That's the fa'il. It's quite simple, right? I don't think I need to ask you to raise your hand, but if there are any questions, stop me. All right, that's the fa'il. Okay. The na'ib fa'il, the number 2. Actually, let's go in the order of the table so as not to confuse each other. Yeah, na'ib fa'il. Na'ib al-fa'il. Okay, we discussed this already. This should be revision. Na'ib al-fa'il is like the fa'il except when the sentence is passive. Okay, when the sentence is passive. To recap on what a passive sentence is, so we do number 2, na'ib al-fa'il. Sorry, changing colors. A passive sentence is, for example, in English when we have the window was broken, as opposed to he broke the window was broken. A passive sentence is where the doer has no reference. So if you look at an active sentence is, for example, he drove the car. Who drove the car? He did. We might not know who it is, but we know it's a he. If I said, however, the car was driven, there's absolutely no reference to who the driver is. Is it he? Is it she? Is it a mechanical? Is it a robot? Is it a car self-driving? Is it an animal? Whatever. We have no idea. That's a passive sentence. That's a passive sentence. So do some examples. If I said, for example, كسر الباب. This means he broke the door. He broke the door. Active or passive? Active or passive? What is this? كسر الباب. He broke the door. Okay. Who's the doer? Where's the doer? He. It's implied within the verb, isn't it? It's embedded within the verb. It's huwa within the verb, right? Okay. If I said كسرت الباب, what does this mean now? كسرت الباب. I broke the door. Where's the doer now? Where's the doer now? Where is the doer referred to? In the tu. So this tu refers to the I. So we can consider that to be the doer. كسرت الباب. كسرت الباب. Okay, so this is all active. The specific word that means, we say مقدر or mustatir, actually we say كسر is فعل ماض والفاعل ضمير مستتر تقديره هو. It's a hidden verb, a hidden word that is هو. كسر أي هو كسر الباب. Okay. With كسرت, the fa'il is the to. It's a ta. When I say what is the doer, you say the ta, the to. Here. That's the doer. كسرت الباب. Right. Raise your hand if you're following. Okay, one more time. Which part do you want to repeat? We're discussing the passive and active sentence, all right? So the passive is when the active is when you mention who the doer is, all right? Even if it's just referentially, like with the pronoun. And the passive when there's no reference. So for example, in English, if I said he broke the door and the door was broken, he broke the door is active because he is referred to. We know who the doer is. It's a he. It's a male. It's a masculine thing, right? But if I said the door was broken, that's passive because there is absolutely no reference to the doer. We don't know if it's a he, if it's a she, if it's a group of people, if it's one person, if it's two people, nothing, right? So then to translate that into Arabic, kasar al-baba means he broke the door. He broke the door. The door is there. It's he. It's within the verb, right? Kasara means he broke, as in huwa is implied. Huwa meaning he, right? Is that clear, Tahara? Ayan, Lina, Rumaisa. Yeah. Okay. Likewise, if I said kasartu al-baba, it means I broke the door. The doer is still mentioned. In fact, more explicitly because you can see the tu at the end of kasartu, which is I. When I say kusira al-babu, this means the door was broken. When you make it like this, when you make the beginning dhamma and then make it kasra, like fataha futiha. Just try and play it by ear instead of giving you rules. Fataha futiha, kasara kusira, jalasa julisa. Okay, ghalaqa ghuliqa. Right? You can see that, right? Rawaya ruwiya. Okay, nafadha nufidha, nafada nufida. That's how you make it passive. So kasara al-baba, he broke the door. Kusira al-babu, the door was broken. The door was broken. Okay. Now, in a passive sentence, is there a doer? Is there a fa'il? Yes or no? Is there a fa'il? Is there a doer? Definition. We just said the passive sentence, there's no doer. All right. So the doer place is made up by the na'ib fa'il, what we call the sort of doer. Na'ib fa'il, na'ib means sort of or deputy. All right. The object becomes the sort of doer because what's the thing that's breaking? What's the thing that's doing the being broken? Is the door. Kusra al-babu. So in a passive sentence, this is both sort of the doer and the done to at the same time. When I said the window was broken, what was broken? The window. What got broken? The window. Or what got broken? The door. So we call this the na'ib fa'il. Essentially, in a nutshell, in a passive sentence, okay, is the protagonist, remember the sole protagonist, is the na'ib fa'il. The protagonist in a passive sentence is the na'ib fa'il. Okay? That's what we call na'ib fa'il. It's like the doer, but in a passive sentence. It's the doer of a passive sentence. So the difference between a fa'il and na'ib fa'il is for an active sentence, and na'ib fa'il is for a passive sentence. Okay? It's more like an object in a passive sentence with a hidden. Yeah, you can think of it like the asif as well. Raise your hand if that's clear. That's na'ib al-fa'il. So we talked about protagonist again a lot when we did that analogy with the main subject of the sentence. I think you might have missed quite a few lessons, Shano, is when we talked about the umda and the umda is made up of what's your main protagonist, right? Imad Umar. Naib means deputy or vice, like secondary or pseudo, whatever, something like that. It's not synonymous to subject, no, it's not. A subject is okay. Ignore the if you don't remember it, ignore it. It's going to I have to explain it again, otherwise it will take a long time. So it's better to review it from the lesson. Ignore the protagonist part. It's not synonymous. No. Subject is an example of a protagonist. Subject is an example of a protagonist. Okay. فتح what was I going to say? فتح النافذة. Okay, let's explain this protagonist thing through an example. All right, we talked about how in a sentence, a verb or a noun sentence, all right, there are always two main components in a verb sentence or noun sentence. There are two minimum components. There's the main topic, which we call the protagonist, right? The main topic. In a verb sentence, that would be the doer, right? And there's the attribution, what we're saying about that topic. In a verb sentence, that would be the verb, right? In a noun sentence, it would be the subject and the predicate, مبتدأ and خبر. That's it. Okay, so فتح النافذة. He opened the window. Okay, he opened the window. فتح النافذة. Is an active sentence or a passive sentence? Active. Where's the doer? فتح refers to he. Okay. If I made this passive, if I made فتح into فتح and فتحت in fact, but let's stick to فتح because that's جائز as well. I don't want to confuse you. فتح. What would happen to نافذة? النافذة 2. And what would we call this? It's in the raf'un case. Why? Because it's the what? Out of the 7 marfu'at, what is it? Which one is it? The naib fa'il. Okay, good. Definitely do. Barakallah fiki. Okay, good. طيب, that's fa'il and naib fa'il. Raise your hand if that's clear. Let's move on. Okay, so that's in a verb sentence. In a noun sentence, we have two components. We have two components. So we're on number 3 now, and number 4 together. We have the mubtada. What am I doing? Allahu musta'an. Mubtada. Okay, and the khabar, which is the subject and the predicate. Okay, for noun sentence. Let's just see how many people remember it. Which one here is the protagonist? Which one is the topic? What we're talking about? Which one's the attribution? The thing we're saying about it for this. Out of the subject and predicate, mubtada, khabar. Tell me which one is the protagonist or the thing we're talking about, and which one is this attribution. So mubtada is the protagonist, and what's the attribution? And khabar is attribution. Good. Jade. All right, good. So that's really all there is to it. There's a mubtada and khabar. Like for example, الطالب ذكي. The student is intelligent. What are you talking about? You're talking about the student. What are you saying about him that he's intelligent? Both are in the raf'un case. The mubtada and the khabar are always in the raf'un case. No exceptions. Ever. Right? If it changes, then we call it something else. If it's a mubtada and a khabar, it's always in the raf'un case. These are the marfu'at. الطالب ذكي. Okay? الأستاذ موجود. Right? البيت جميل. القصر كبير. And so on. Everything. Like any basic noun sentence, both of these are going to be in the raf'un case. Right? Sometimes, of course, the mubtada can be a pronoun. I can say huwa, or let's be fair. Let's say here. Here, ذكية. ذكية. She is intelligent. Okay. Here, what's the mubtada? First of all, what's the mubtada? She is intelligent. What's the mubtada? Yeah, it's she. All right. It would have been in the raf'un case if it could have case, but it doesn't have case because it's a pronoun. So we don't say this is a marfu', but we say this is a mubtada. And the khabar is ذكية. The khabar is ذكية. The khabar is simply ذكية. That's basically mubtada and khabar. All right, that's basically mubtada and khabar. That's it, really. When you have a noun sentence, there's two components, the mubtada and the khabar, and they're both in the raf'un case, the subject and the predicate. What you're saying, what you're talking about. What you're saying and what you're talking about. Raise your hand if that's clear. Okay, slightly advanced point, but let's just do this now because it will save you the confusion when someone tries to explain it to you in Arabic. Sorry, my screen went suddenly. Can you still see me? See my screen and hear me? Okay, good. All right. Let's do a slightly advanced point, okay? الولد في البيت. Someone translate this for me, please. الولد في البيت. It's a noun sentence. The boy is in the house. Okay, good. Pay close attention. Take this easy with me. الولد في البيت. Let's write the English down. The boy is in the house. Okay. Where is the mubtada? Where's the protagonist? Where's the thing we're talking about? What are we talking about? What's the mubtada? Al-walad. Okay, good. We agree. This is the mubtada. Okay. Next question. Where is the khabar? Where is the khabar? Okay. Is al-bayt the khabar? Who thinks if say yes if you think it, let me clear it all. Say yes if you think it's the khabar, say no if you don't think it's the khabar. Al-bayti. You have buttons for yes and no there. Say yes if you think it is the khabar and no if you don't think. Okay. Someone tell me why it can't be the khabar. Why is it not the khabar? What do we just say the khabar has to be in terms of case? It has to be a reference. This is not the khabar, clearly. Right. I know, obviously, I haven't finished my point here because you might be thinking, wait, what are we saying about the way? Saying he's in the house. Isn't in the house is, of course, the um, the khabar. Really, what does the khabar have to be? What case does it have to be in, the khabar? What case must the khabar be in? 144. Can you see the khabar? Right. So, in Arabic, there's a general rule, right? Learn this early; it'll save you time and impress your teachers later. If something's meant to be there but it's not, what do we say? What do we say about it? Where is it? It's there, but it's assumed, it's hidden, right? It's hidden. Okay, so it's implicit, right? So we can say al-waladu, the boy is what in the house? What can we say? What can we? The boy is what in the house? Come up with something. The boy is present in the house, right? So we can say that really, the sentence is really al-waladu mawjudun fil bayt. It's just that mawjudun is not mawjud, right? It's hidden. It's not present. Oh, sorry, I'm confusing now. Mawjudun is hidden. الولد موجود في البيت. So really, what's the noun sentence? The noun sentence is the boy is present, and this شبه جملة, this حرف جر and مجرور, this quasi sentence, right, or quasi or whatever, that's just giving additional information. What's the actual baseline information? Saying the boy is present, and where he is additional information in the house. Where he is additional information in the house. Okay, the way he is additional information in the house. Let's do another one. Okay. First of all, am I making sense? Raise your hand. Okay, I'll repeat with a different example. Let's give another example. If I said, okay, if I said, um, let me be thicker. السيارة, which is the car, السيارة, okay, أمام البيت. The car is in front of the house. السيارة أمام البيت. Okay. أمام البيت. السيارة أمام البيت. This means the car is in front of the house. Okay. Where's the mubtada? This is an obvious one. That's always the easy part. The car. All right. And can أمام البيت be the khabar? No, it can't. So what would be the implied khabar? It can be anything. Present is a good one. موجود. The you wouldn't give that. The car is parked in front of the house. Maybe you can imply that, all right. But the ulama, they usually say mawjood or ka'in or mustaqirrun or something like these kind of things, and they place that there. So let's stick to mawjoodun. The car is present. Whatever is most appropriate for that sentence, right? Parked is still assuming some stuff, right? The most generic thing you can say is mawjood. Okay, the car is present, or mawjoodatun, really it should be, isn't it? Mawjoodatun, because the car is present in front of the house, is there, or ka'in, the car is in existence in front of the house. Something generic. Park is a bit too specific. It might not be park, it might be crashed, right? It could be waqi' or taqa', anything like these kind of things. Anything like these kind of things you can put there. السيارة موجودة أمام البيت. Reason being is because we have to, the khabar has to be marfu'. It's there, all right? And this أمام البيت is just additional information. It's fadla. We don't need it. We don't need it for there to be a complete sentence. Okay, we can just say سيارة موجودة. Do you see that? It's a slightly advanced point. It's a slightly advanced point, but it will save you time from having to understand someone explain that to you in Arabic. It might become confusing. All right. There is some khilaf. There's some different opinions. Some of the grammarians, especially Ibn Ajurrum, you'll find if you check Al-Ajurrumiyyah, he says, "No, why are you being long for? Right? Why don't you just say Amam al-Bayt is the khabar? But it's like when we had huwa, it's a pronoun. It's not really marfu', but it's sitting there. Why can't you just say that about Amam al-Bayt? It's a sentence that's in the place of the khabar." That's another opinion. You can say that. You can just say as-sayyaratu is the mubtada, and amam al-bayt is another half sentence that's taking the place of the khabar. But because it's a sentence, it doesn't have the case. You can say either way. You can say either way. But I just thought I'd expose you to that discussion to some basic degree, just for your information, to save you confusion later on. Raise your hand if that's okay. That's the mubtada and the khabar. Okay, good. All right, that's enough for that. So we've done 4 now. Good. We've done 4 out of the 6. So we've done the fa'il, we've done the na'ib fa'il, we've done the mubtada and the khabar. Now we have ism inna and khabar. Ism kana and khabar inna. Okay. Any questions? Someone said. Who's someone? Do some of you have a cross next to your name? Is that like I don't understand or an accident? Okay, good. Yeah, هذا رأيي هذا قول من العلماء. You can say that. You can say, some people find it easier to explain to students. You can just say the khabar can be a single word. It can be khabar mufrad or shibh jumla or mudaf ilayh or something like that, or jumla. And that's the opinion of the Kufans. And what I just explained now is the opinion of the Basriyun. And it's more consistent in my view. There's a slight difference of opinion. لا يترتب عليه شيء عموما. Nothing really happens as a result of that. Okay, let's finish the last 2 off. For the last 2, we have to take a normal noun sentence. Okay. We can say, for example, Al-Kitabu. The book is useful. What's the word for useful? Anyone know? نافع. Okay. Or مفيد. Let's say مفيد. That's not his spell مفيد. الكتاب مفيد. There's a simple noun sentence made up of a mubtada and a khabar. Okay, نافع is correct as well. مفيد is correct. Let's just go with مفيد for now. الكتاب مفيد. The book is useful. This is a noun sentence. This is the umda, the mubtada and the khabar, the basics, the bare minimum of the noun sentence. Two components. What are you talking about? The book. That's the umda. That's part of the umda. That's the protagonist. So what are you saying about it is mufid, mubtada and the khabar. Okay. There are some things, right, that can come along and it can affect the umda. It can affect the case of the mubtada and the khabar. Okay. There are two things, inna and kana. Let's start off with inna. Inna is a word. It's a harf. It hasn't got a case in of itself. Inna. And it's often translated as indeed or verily, okay, or certainly. Basically, it means emphasis. Okay, inna. So number one, its meaning is emphasis. Number two, it makes the subject mansub. What happens to al-kitabu? It becomes al-kitab. Al-kitaba. Does anything happen to the khabar? No, that's it. That's it. Okay, that's why this comes up so many times in the Quran. You'll notice this everywhere. Inna Allaha ma'a sabirin. Inna Allaha qawiyyun aziz. Right? Inna Allaha, and so on and so on. It comes up so many times. Right? It makes the subject mansub. That's pretty much it. Then there's a little bit of just what the grammarians did, like they made some slight modifications, like technical things, just for consistency across the thing by renaming a few things, right? Really, this al-kitab mufid was mubtada al-khabar, but you've made inna and al-kitab and in a fatha. Can we call al-kitab a mubtada anymore? Can we call it mubtada anymore? We can't, because it's what? It's in what case? It's not one case. So just to be consistent, the grammarians, look, really, we can get away as lay people and say, oh, it's a mubtada that's become mansub. Okay, inna means it's emphasis, indeed or verily. Inna al-kitab mufid. This now means indeed the book is beneficial. The book is definitely beneficial. Or verily, the book is beneficial. All right, that's what it means. We can get away by saying, oh, kitab is a mubtada, but it's become mansub by inna. We can get away with that, but we're not, because we're all aspiring expert grammarians, so we're not going to go down that route. We're going to say instead, no, we can't call it mubtada, so let's rename it, and conveniently, let's just call it the ism inna. Ism inna. It's the noun of inna, right? Fair enough. Fair enough. We just call it ism inna. So the ism inna is basically the mubtada that's been made mansub by the inna. Okay. Now the mufid khabar. Slightly more subtle question. Can we still call the mufid? Can we still call mufidan the khabarun? Yes or no? Okay. You'd think so, right? Because it's a trick question. You don't mention the answer. You'd think so because it's still in the raf'un case, but for it to be a khabar, all right, there needs to be a mubtada. Is there a mubtada anymore? There's no mubtada anymore. You can't have a khabar without a mubtada. You can't have a predicate without a subject. So no, we can't call it the khabar anymore. So what do you think we should call it instead? Khabar of inna. We just call it the khabar of inna. Okay. Really, it's not so necessary. It's just for technical consistency. So all that's happened is mubtada and khabar are still there, really. Inna just come along and made the mubtada mansub. However, from a technical point of view, we say, right, al-kitaba can't really be the mubtada anymore because it's mansub, so let's rename it. All we're doing is renaming it. We're calling it the ism inna. And mufidun can't be the khabar anymore because it hasn't got a mubtada. You can't have a khabar without a mubtada, right? It doesn't exist, right? So we rename it, we call it the khabar of inna. That's it. That's it. Right. So therefore, that's why really that's the sixth thing. Look, if you look at the sixth, we skipped that ism. Khabar of inna is marfu'. Khabar of inna is marfu' because we're talking about the marfu'at. We're talking about the marfu'at, all right? And ism inna, look, ism inna uh, is one of the mansubat, which we'll come to when we come to the mansubat, because you can see it's made mansub, isn't it? Right. So really, this is just a khabar. So we can say, look, it's really just a khabar, number 4, but we've just added it as a 6th thing because it's a sort of a new thing. So it's khabar inna. That's the 5th of the marfu'at. Okay. Yes, we still call it a jumla ismiya. We still call it a jumla ismiya, na'am. But we say it's been affected by inna. So mubtada is exclusive raf'an. Na'am. Mubtada is exclusive, or raf'an is exclusive to the no, mubtada exclusive to raf'an, I guess. It seems strange not to call it mubtada even. Yeah, you're right, Maliha. That's what I was saying. Like instinctively, what your intuition would tell you would be that just why do you have to change the name? Just call it a mubtada that's become mansub, right? Just call it a mubtada that's become mansub, and you can't get away with doing that. But for consistency, because we've said no, them if we want there to be marfu'at, then it can't be a mubtada anymore because we said mubtada is marfu'. This isn't marfu', so it can't be mubtada. So let's rename it ism inna. Okay. All right. So this is the fifth of the marfu'at, ism inna. The mufidun, this word. This is going to be sorry, afwan, let me say that again because I was all wrong. The khabar of inna is the 5th of the marfu'at, the 5th of the thing which are marfu'. This ism inna will come under the mansubat. We're coming to that. We're coming to that later when you do the mansubat, but we obviously we've come across it already. Okay. Is that clear? Raise your hand, please. So it state, I'm not sure what you mean by that. It state depends on there being both components. What do you mean? Okay, I'll you answer that. Ask me that later. Okay. It can't just be khabar. Yeah, you can't. It's like, I mean, yeah, there's a pair. They're a married couple, right? You can't be a wife if you don't have a husband, right? Right? You don't call her. I guess it's, I don't know. It's a morbid example, but right, you have a married couple. You have a husband and a wife. When the husband disappears, you rename the wife into a what? What do you call the wife now? Do you still call her a wife, or would you call her when the husband dies? You call her a widow, or a widow. I forget which way around it is, or a divorcee. She gets divorced. You rename her, right? Likewise, a husband, if his wife passes away, you don't call him a husband anymore. You change his name. You change him to a widow, widower, whichever way around it is. All right. So they come as a pair. Mubtada and khabar come together. They're a married couple. They get along quite well until inna comes along, and inna ruins the marriage. Does that help? Hope so. Okay. Astaghfirullah. Why? What did I say? What's so wrong about what I said? Astaghfirullah lana. Inna kitab mufidan. Okay, so that's inna. We'll come back to inna. Inna ruins the marriage. Oh, I see. The marriage between the mubtada and the khabar. It does. It ruins the marriage between the mubtada and the khabar. Type. All right. So that's inna. We'll come back to inna later when we talk about inna and her sisters. Then we have another thing. Yes, there are lots of other words like inna. There's inna, anna, lakinna, la'alla, and so on. We'll come to them. Just like you know how we have the nawasib. So lan made the following word mansub. It had a function. Yaktubu becomes yaktuba, but there's loads of them, isn't there? There's lan, there's lam, there's lan, there's an, there's kay, there's li, right? And they all have their own meanings. Likewise, inna, we're just demonstrating the function, the effect through inna, but there's more of these, right? There's inna, anna, lakinna, la'alla, and we'll go through them just like we went through lan and kay and lam, and so forth. Right? We'll go through those, but let me just get to kana as well, and then we'll come back to this and we'll go through the sisters. We call them inna and her sisters. That's what the grammar is called. Inna wa akhawatuha. Inna wa akhawatuha. Inna anna lakinna la'alla, and so on and so forth. There are a few. طيب. Is that okay, Ahmed? We'll come back to that, inshallah. But I want to just get through the conceptual basis for the marfu'at, and then we'll go through the different ones and their meanings with examples. طيب. Let's do another one. Another thing that affects, there are two things that affect the noun sentence. So we have the noun sentence al-kitab mufid, and there are two things that affect them. There's inna and her sisters, and there's another one kana and her sisters. Kana and her sisters. So let's put the noun sentence there first. Al-kitabu mufidun. Okay, let's same thing. Let's do first and foremost what does it do in meaning, and number two, what does it do in grammar? Number one, kana is like a time machine, takes it into the past. So if al-kitab mufid means the book is useful, kana al-kitab mufid, whatever the ending is, means the book was useful, takes it into the past. Number two, it does the opposite in grammar. It makes the subject, the predicate, the khabar, mansoob. I'm mixing between Arabic and English, but anyway, you get the point. So we have كان الكتاب مفيد. What happens to مفيد? Becomes مفيد. مفيدا. كان الكتاب مفيدا. Okay. كان الكتاب مفيدا. كان الكتاب مفيدا. All right. Again, so الكتاب. So that's obviously the مبتدأ, but can we still call it مبتدأ anymore? Yes or no? So what do you think we rename this to? What do you think we rename this to? Simple. It's not اسم إن, it's going to be اسم كان. خلاص. اسم كان. And what do you think we rename مفيدا to? خبر كان. خبر كان. There we go. That's it. That's it. So we've got four new components here. Four new components. We've got the اسم إن, خبر إن, اسم كان, خبر كان. Which ones are the marfu'at out of these? Which ones are going to fall under the marfu'at? Which two are going to fall under the marfu'at? The things which are marfu'. Out of these four, which two? Ism kana and khabar inna. Good. Khabar inna and ism kana. This one and this one. And the other two, the ism inna and khabar kana, this one and this one will fall under mansubat, which we'll come to. So really, they're just glorified mubtadas or glorified khabars that just have had a name change. They've just changed the name. They've just re-identified themselves because of a change in relationship status, I guess, right? And that's in the Quran a lot, right? That's in the Quran a lot. Again, like Shaheen has just shared. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. نعم. So وَكَانَ الْكِتَابُ مُفِيدًا means the book was useful. The book was useful. The book was, it takes into the past. The book was useful. Okay. And this comes in the Quran a lot. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا. Of course, in the Quran, it doesn't mean Allah was the most merciful, the most gracious. Kana often comes sometimes for the meaning of emphasis too, meaning Allah was, is, and always will be. And Allah says in the Quran, وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا means Allah like has always been. It's not like Allah is. Allah was, is, and always will be. That's what kana means when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses it to describe himself. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ غَفُورًا رَحِيمًا, and so on and so forth. So you have originally Allahu Ghafurun Rahim. Allahu Ghafurun Rahim. Allah is the most forgiving, the merciful. But you have kana coming along, you have kana Allahu Ghafuran Rahima. Okay. Allah does say, so the difference between inna and kana for emphasis, kana means in terms of having always been in that, like Allah says, kana Allahu Ghafurun, meaning Allah was, is, and always will be. Whereas inna means indeed Allah is. It's like emphasizing the attribute, whereas kana is more emphasizing the fact that it's eternal. It's always been the case. Does kana? Yes, kana applies when it's, so kana is actually it acts like a verb. So you have a present tense version of it as well, like yakunu. So yakunu al-kitab mufidan means the book is useful, but we'll come to that later. But the rule apply. But we're not going to go into that too much. So you need to understand the concept of the khabar kana and ism kana. That's all the marfu'at. We're done. We just have to go through the examples of the sisters of kana and inna. But there we go. We've done the marfu'at. We'll do one half of the mansubat next week and the tawabi', and the following we'll do the other. We should finish in 3 or 4 lessons, inshallah. If not sooner. With examples, inshallah. Marfu'at, I'm not really giving you many examples because there's just plenty, and these are easy. Mansubat, I'll give you loads of examples from the Quran, inshallah. Marfu'at, we're not really giving Quranic examples because you'll find them. Like, because it's the default, it's everywhere. Okay, so we've done fa'il mubtada, khabar ism kana, khabar inna. Right. I'll take a minute for questions. Please ask. Please be critical and ask. Anything that's like you don't get at all. If you want an example, to repeat something, or one of these 6 that you want me to talk about again? Okay, how are you feeling about this stuff? Give me some words. Don't say yes or no. Right, type something out. Is it making sense? Is the picture coming together? Following? I don't know why they call the sisters. I don't know why you call the sisters. Yeah, I think they just call the sisters. It's like, because the huruf, firstly, all the huruf are just like ta, alif, ba, ta, tha, jim, ha, kha, they're considered feminine. The huruf in general are considered. It's like in English, when you talk about inanimate objects, you talk about them in a feminine sense. Like you say, when you talk about, if you're on a ship, you call it a she, isn't it? You call it a she, something like that. That's how it is. Because women influence men. You're brave, Abdul Samad. You're brave. طيب بارك الله فيكم. Glad. Yeah, inshallah. If you, with repetition, it will become clearer, and you'll have to do this again. And a lot of application is important, which is why I'm glad a lot of you are doing the book club after. That happens straight after. You must apply this stuff. A lot of people, they do a lot of grammar and they can't read to save their lives. I remember when I was abroad, and I was one of those people actually, to be honest. I could look at a page because I enjoy grammar so much. I could look at a page and I could tell you all the words and all the cases, but if you ask me what does this sentence mean, I couldn't tell you. I would tell you, oh, this is a mubtada, this is a khabar, this is a marfu' for this and mansub for that. I can tell from the position of the sentence. But if I was asked what does this mean, I'm at a loss because I haven't had practice in reading. Which is the objective of, like, there's no point looking at a sentence of the Quran and knowing the grammar and not knowing what it means. So you must have frequent practice in actual literature, reading and writing and breaking down texts. Like, let's go back to the matan al-Ajurrumiyyah and just put everything together, just from the matan, and just see what we've skipped over, what we haven't skipped over. طيب باب مرفوعات الأسماء. Or someone said something about seventh. The seventh is the tawabi', which we'll come to. Okay. We will come to. Okay. الفاعل المفعول الذي لم يسمى فاعله. This is just نائب فاعل. So فاعل we've done. الفاعل الذي لم يسمى فاعله. This is the المفعول الذي لم يسمى فاعله. This is basically نائب فاعل. The object whose dua has not been mentioned. Right. Passive sentence. مبتدأ خبر. Look how he said the mubtada and its khabar, meaning for there to be a khabar, there has to be a mubtada. Ism kana and her sisters, which will come to. Khabar inna and her sisters, which will come to. And التابع للمرفوع, meaning the copycats, but we'll come to them later. And وهو أربعة أشياء: النعت والعطف والتوكيد والبدل. So we'll come to this stuff, okay, later. Let's just look at what the مرفوعات are. فاعل. Okay, we talked about the فاعل. Okay, is this literally just saying الاسم المرفوع المذكور قبله فعله, the word that has a verb before it, i.e. the dua. Okay, there are two types: of the explicit and the mudmar. It is not that useful. It's just saying there's, like we said, jalasa is within it. And we said jalasa talibu, the student sat. That's explicit saying, and it gives you loads of examples. Qama zayd, yaqumu zayd, qama zaydan, yaqumu zaydan, or qama. It just all of these examples. وما أشبه ذلك, and things like that. Right. والمضمر is pronouns. The duas are pronouns, like ضربت, ضربنا, ضربته, ضربتي, and they're just all the examples. It gives you it. That's the fa'il. That's the chapter on fa'il. We've already talked about that. Clear? Raise your hand. Let's do this quickly. Raise your hand if that's clear. Is everything we said about the fa'il is just in a slightly convoluted way because it's in a classical manner that just assumes a high level of competence. Okay, it says the same thing about the na'ib fa'il, just with loads of examples again. All right, so let's skip over that. Mubtada and khabar. Okay. Yeah. Again, it's just loads of examples. Says the same thing. You'll do this again, inshallah, when you have the notes. We'll go through every word by word, and when you do the Jumla again, you'll go through it word by word. Okay. Then he says العوامل الداخلة على مبتدأ الخبر, the things that come to the مبتدأ الخبر and affect it, which is إن and كان. Okay. Okay, there is one now. Okay, I skipped dhanna. I forgot to mention that. So it's not in the مرفوعات. Okay. Okay, we're gonna skip dhanna. We're just not gonna do it because that complicates things. That's the only thing in Ajurrumiyyah we're not gonna do. Because we have to go into Af'al al-Qulub and Kada wa Akhawatuha and all the things. It's gonna come up. You'll do it again, inshallah. It'll come up Qatr al-Nada when you do that. That's the only thing so far we're gonna skip in Ajurrumiyyah entirely. Okay, we might allude to it at the end if we get some time, but for now we're not. Okay, وهي ثلاث أشياء كان وأخواتها إن وأخواتها. Okay, three things. What we're gonna make that two. or شيئين وهي شيئين or شيئان. كان وأخواتها and إن وأخواتها. Okay. As for Kana and her sisters, كان الله غفور رحيما, فإنها ترفع الاسم. It makes the ism of the Kana marfu', which we know, and it makes the khabar of the Kana mansub. That's what it's saying. Don't get too bogged down with decodifying the actual Arabic. Just make sure you understand what I'm saying. وهي كان وأمسى وأصبح. So these are all of the sisters of Kana. So number one, Kana. أمسى number two. أصبح number three. أضحى number four. ظل number five. بات number six. صار number seven. ليس number eight. ما زال number nine. ما انفك number 10. ما فتئ number 11. ما برح number 12. ما دام number 13. ما okay, and وما تصرف منها. Okay, that's fine. And we're going to go through those next week, inshallah. Some of them we're going to skip because they're extremely rare, like وما انفك وما فتئ وما برح. Right, the other ones will do, and they'll be quick, inshallah. Okay. Then we have inna wa akhwatuha. Okay, it does the opposite. It makes the ism marfu' and the khabar it makes the ism mansub and the khabar marfu'. Inna Allaha ghafurun rahim. Okay, and the sisters are following: inna number one, and number two, lakinna number three, ka'anna number four, layta number five, la'alla number six. Okay, and they're all quite common, so we're going to do all of them. And then it just gives loads of examples. And dhanna we're going to skip. I'm not going to do that because we're not going to get into that. Okay. But that's basically everything we've done so far. Obviously, every time we come back to the actual Arabic, people start getting scared. Oh my God, I didn't understand all that. It's fine. Don't worry about it. When you do Ajurrumiyyah again in Arabic, inshallah, which you will do, you'll break down everything. But I just want you to show you where it is. So if you ever, when you do Ajurrumiyyah again, you can say, okay, this is where the stuff we learned is discussed. This is where the fa'al is discussed. This is where the mubtada khabar is discussed. All the stuff we learn is here somewhere. Everything that Tahsin mentioned is mentioned somewhere here, and it will be decodified. Okay. طيب. Any questions? Let's quickly do something. We have 10 minutes. Let's try and get the Kana and his sisters out of the way, as many as we can. Okay, Kana and his sisters, let's get them to the way. Okay, let's do something a bit more interesting. Let's do something a bit more interesting as a precursor to the next lesson. Okay, let's do that. Let's take a step back and do something a bit more interesting that will help the next lesson, inshallah. We only have 10 minutes, an awkward amount of time left. Okay, let's take a step away from Ajurrumiyyah and let me teach you something different that's slightly more interesting. Okay, slightly more interesting. I was asked a question by one of you who said, what is the point of all this change in case? What is the point in all this change in case? Like, what does it mean? Why does it have to be there? Why does it have to be marfu' and mansub majrur? What, English doesn't need it, yet we have perfectly fine meaning. I'll give you a couple of examples of when the change in case drastically affects the meaning. Drastically affects the meaning. All right? Pay attention, pay close attention. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, in Surah Tawbah, Inna Allah bari'un min al-mushrikeen wa rasulun. I'm going to modify that slightly. We'll take it out of the Quran and then modify it slightly just for the purposes of our learning. And I'm going to put it into English first. I'm going to say, in Arabic first. Allahu bari'un. This is too thick. من المشركين Rasul. Okay, I'll leave that blank. Okay. In fact, before we do that, I apologize again for my handwriting. Allahu bari'un min al-mushrikeen wa rasuluh. Let's look at it in English. Okay, this means in literal translation, Allah is disassociated from the polytheists and his messenger. Look at that. Allahu bari'un min al-mushrikeen wa rasulih. Look at how the meaning changes drastically if you make it rasuluh to rasulih. Okay, look at it closely. If Allah said Allah is free from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in Surah Tawbah is Allah disassociates himself from the mushrikeen. He has nothing to do with that. He frees himself. It's like a punishment. Like Allah is like they're not from him. Allah is not associating himself with the mushrikeen. He's free from them. Right? Bari'un min al-mushrikeen. If we said would we dare to say Allah says that about his prophet? Yes or no? About Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Could that be what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala means, that he's free from his prophet? Of course not. Of course not. Okay. But look how we can dictate that through what we do. If we make it Rasuluhu, okay, Allahu, what case is Allah in? Allahu, what case is Allah in here? Raf'un case. Okay. What case is mushrikeen in? Min al-mushrikeen. What case is mushrikeen in? Min al-mushrikeen. In the jarrun case. So this is jarrun. Now we can choose, okay, because it's out there the Quran here, which one we want Rasul to be attached to. Either we make it attached to Allah, right? Meaning Allah and his prophet are disassociated from the mushrikeen, or we make it attached to mushrikeen by making it jarrun through case. Right? In which case it means Allah disassociated from the polytheist and his messenger. Right? So which one would it be? Rasuluhu or Rasulih? Rasuluhu. Because what happens is when you attach words with connectives, like the wow, wa, the way they copy in the case also copies in the meaning of the hukm, the ruling on that thing. So when you say Allahu bari'un min al-mushrikeen wa rasuluh, you're putting Allah and Rasul together because they're in the same case. Allah and his messenger are free from the mushrikeen. When you make a Rasulih, then Rasul and mushrikeen are both in jarrun case. And they're putting them together, and that becomes Allah is free from the mushrikeen and the Prophet. Billah, of course, we'd never say that. Okay, that's one example. Do you see that example of why a case could affect meaning? Raise your hand, please. Okay, that's one example. Look at the English. Allah is disassociated from the polytheist and his message. You can't do that in English, right? It's ambiguous. It's just ambiguous. It doesn't make sense. Like in English, because English doesn't have Arab, it doesn't have that feature in that language which allows it to have that distinction, to make that distinction. Okay. Let me give you another one. Let me give you another one from Surah Ma'idah. Okay, we want to get Surah Ma'idah, ayah number 6. Okay, and we want the translation, which is English. Okay, look at this. Allah says in Surah Ma'idah, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha qumtum ila as-salati. Pay close attention. O you who believe, okay? When you stand for prayer, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu idha qumtum ila as-salati. O you who believe, when you stand for prayer, فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ. Look closely. فَاغْسِلُوا is a verb, it means wash. This is the ayah of wudu. This is a verse in the Quran that teaches how to do wudu. Wash your faces. Okay. Wujuhakum, what case is wujuhakum in and why? I've circled it to make it easier for you. What case is wujuhakum in and why? Mansub. Why is it in the Nasbun case? Why is it in the nasbun case? It's the maf'ulun bihi, meaning you have to wash your face. What is it that you wash? What is it that you wash? You wash your face. Next, then we have وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ, and your hands. And your hands. Wash your faces and your hands. أَيْدِيَكُمْ is in the nasbun case. This means, because you've made them both in the nasbun case, it has to be the same ruling as the face. What's the ruling of the face? What do you have to do to the face in wudu? You have to wash it. You have to wash it. Meaning the hands, what do you have to do to the hands? You have to wash it. فَاغْسِلُوا وُجُوهَكُمْ وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, to the elbows. Alright? To the elbows. وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, and wipe your head. Okay? There are some verbs that come with a harf jar, like جَلَسَ عَلَى. I have to say I sat on the chair. I can't say I sat the chair. Some verbs take their object through harf jar, make it majroor. I sat on the chair. جَلَسْتُ عَلَى الْكُرْسِيِّ. I can't say جَلَسْتُ الْكُرْسِيِّ. Right? That's not in the Arabic. Or in English, I can't say I sat the chair. I sat on the chair. To wipe can be one of them. So in Arabic you say مسحت برأسي, I wiped my head. Okay, مسحت برأسي. So we have وامسحوا برؤوسكم, and wipe your heads. رؤوسكم is in what case and why? Wipe your heads. Jarun, because of the preposition. Okay, all you who believe, when you stand for prayer, wash your faces and your hands to the elbows and wipe your head. Okay, now look at arjulakum, arjulikum. Okay, look, arjulakum. What case is arjulakum in? Arjulakum means feet. So the literal translation is, all you who believe, when you stand for prayer, wash your faces and your hands to the elbows and wipe your feet, wipe your heads and your feet. Wipe your head and your feet. If you said that in English, what do you think you have to do to your feet? What do you think the ruling would be for the feet? In English, wipe your head and feet. Wipe. But arjulakum ends in a fatha. So is it attached to ru'usi? Is it in the same group as ru'usikum? No. What is it attached to instead? Refers back to the washing. It's in the same group as aydiyakum wa wujuhakum. Aydiyakum wa wujuhakum, isn't it? So meaning, what do you do to your feet? You have to? You need to wash them. You need to wash them. Look at the difference in meaning. Arjulakum, arjulikum. If you said arjulikum, it has the meaning of wiping. If you say arjulakum, it has the meaning of washing. Okay? Both listings are possible. So the majority of the Qur'an said arjulakum, but others like Abu Ja'far ibn Kathir, ibn Umar and others, they said bikasr lam, arjulikum. All right? And both are possible. And if it's arjulikum, it could have the meaning of when you wipe off your socks, or it could just be for mujawara. There are other advanced rules for that. We're not going to go into that. But the point here is how the ending of the word does have meaning. It does affect things. All right. Raise your hand if you're following that so far. Raise your hand if you're following that so far. Raise your hand. Sorry, I lowered your hand. Raise your hand if you're following that so far. If you can see the point here. This is the phenomenon of atf, of connectives, of connecting word to another, and how case plays a role. Okay. Now let's go a bit further than that. Let's talk a little bit how the fuqaha thought of this verb, this verse. All right. The instinctive thing to do outside the Quran is you'd group all of the mansubat together, isn't it? Okay, so let me answer Tahir's question. How do you know because look, if I say arjulakum, why is it mansub? What's the question? Why is it mansub? That's the question. Why is arjulakum mansub? What's making it mansub? Tahira, question for you. What's making it mansub? Nothing. It has to be something making it mansub. It's the maf'ul. It has to be object of something. What is the object of? Of what verb? It can't be the object of nothing. فَاغْسِلُوا. You see, that's the most recent object. Look at arjulakum is mansub. Where's the last thing that could make it mansub? Is it biru'usikum? No, because that makes it majroor. Is it wamsahu? No, because that comes with the b. Is it the last thing is ughsilu? That's the last thing that could have made this mansub. So it comes in the same group as what it's the same question as asking Tahira. How do you know aydiyakum is wash? Well, how do you know washing goes back to the hands are washed? How do you know it goes back to washing? Yeah, it's one of the copycats, right? But you have to look at what is it copying. Arjulakum, what is it copying? Is arjulakum copying ru'us? Yes or no, everyone? Is arjulakum copying ru'usikum? Yes or no? No. Is lakum copying wujuhakum? Yes or no? Yes. So if it's copying wujuhakum in i'rab, and this is the point, it has to copy in hukum as well. What's the hukum of the face? What's the ruling on the face? What do you have to do to it? You have to wash it. Wujuhakum. And because arjulakum is mansub as well, and it's copying wujuhakum, it has to match in the hukum as well. So what do you have to do to the feet? Arjulakum. You have to what? Wash it. Does that make better sense, Tahira? Is that clearer? Alhamdulillah. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that. Thank you for asking. Okay, and final point before we close, not Arabic related, but just to show you how language affects even our fiqh. This small rule about connected wa is an evidence for doing wudu in that order. So as you know, the fuqaha, there's a khilaf over whether or not you have to do wudu in that order. Do you have to do your hands first and then your face and then your, and so on and so forth. This is an evidence because what's the instinctive thing to do, right? In English, you would have said, "Oh, you have believed. If you stand for prayer, wash your hands and your faces and your feet and wipe your head." But the fact that you split them up, the instinctive thing to do would have arjulakum and wujuhakum aydiyakum together. To have all the things which are mansub, have them in the same place, isn't it? But the fact that you split them up and you put a majroor in between, the fuqaha derived from that this must mean the order matters, that you've gone out of the default. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not leave the default for any other without a reason. And that reason must be this order matters. Face first, then hands, then your head, then your feet. And so the fuqaha derived from this is a dalil from the Quran that order is important. That's why the majority of the fuqaha said, "At-tartibu wajibun." The order of your wudu is obligatory. You have to do it in the order, otherwise it doesn't matter. You can't do your face first and then your you can't do your feet first and then your hand in whatever order. It doesn't work like that. Because from this verse, condition for its validity now. You can't do wudu in any order. According to the majority of the fuqaha. The majority of the fuqaha, condition is order is a condition. Except for some of the Hanafi scholars. Is that clear? Do you see my point there? It's not a directly Nahwu related thing, but you can see the extent to which this matters. It's a very small example. Raise your hand if that's clear before we close. And there are multiple examples about this, not just in fiqh, when it comes to aqidah, when it comes to our relationship with Allah, when it comes to the small messages Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives in the Quran. Changing one thing from a grammatical point, a multitude of meanings comes out of it. They are not dry grammatical rules. They have real life effects. And real life effects in the way we view our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the akhirah. Do you have any questions before we close? We'll close now. Okay, jazakumullah khairan. We'll end here inshallah. Subhanakallah bihamdik nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Someone's asking, is it too late to join the book club? I don't think so. Should be. I mean, no, it's not. I mean, Abdul Samad will let you join. It's just about whether or not you can keep up. So just message him, or message me if you don't have his number. I'll give it to you, and you can message him directly. They do a new text every week, so it should be fine, inshallah. So I really recommend you join it if you can. It'll be take time from a different approach, and it's a different teacher. It's good to learn things from you. He has strength I don't have. He'll teach you some things better than I can teach you. So it's good to go to different teachers. They won't be restarting it from the beginning. Allah Alam, I'm not sure. I know he plans to do like a term 2, term 3, a term 4 and onwards. So just join anyway, akhi. Just join. It'll be good because they do new texts every week. They just get slightly harder, inshallah. Just join, and even if you don't understand them, just sit in that class. It's only 1 hour. I'm sure he won't mind. Sit in the class and try your best, inshallah. So if you don't have his number, message me. I'll put you in touch. You can join. The lesson is happening now, so some of you are late, so I'll let you go. Jazakumullah khairan, subhanakum wa hamdika, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He will be starting a new term in 2 weeks. Yeah, he's starting term 2 in 2 weeks. I think they're last next week. They're starting a new term anyway, so you can join that, inshallah. Okay, final time. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.